Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Grow Your Path to Wellness. If you missed last week's episode, well, 2 weeks ago, because we're releasing bi-weekly, our last episode, we hosted a return guest. We had Morgan Bennett back with us, and we had a more in-depth conversation about the truths and difficulties of preventing workout and the burnout in the workplace. Every time I've tried to say that, I say it backwards. So preventing burnout in the workplace. And as all fellow business owners, but it applied to all of us, but also just for the general public. I think it was a very helpful episode to tune back into if you missed that. This week, we welcome a new and good friend of mine and her kitty cat. She is Kendra Everhart, and we're going to be talking about the topic of Vibeology Dance Yoga. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Kendra.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Good morning, Kendra. I am so excited to have you talk all about Vibeology. I think I said it right.
Yeah.
Dance yoga. I've engaged in lots of different types of yoga, but never this kind. So very intrigued. Can you give us and our listeners, our audience, a little introduction about who you are, what you do, and why this topic for today?
Yeah, so Vibeology Dance Yoga experience is a whole vibe. It's a magical blend of yoga and dance, as well as meditation and grounding movement. There's a lot of, there's some choreography, there's some ecstatic dance, it's kind of just like a little bit of everything. It's very eclectic. And then, of course, it's a sub brand of the Guided Goddess Company, which is my women's wellness collective, where I do soul purpose and self-expression coaching. And then my other sub brand, which is Omni Davy Apothecary.
Is that one newer for you? Sorry, I don't want to like put you on the spot and ask you a million questions, but I've been seeing your products online and stuff, and I love them. Is that a newer brand?
Since winter. But the perfumes are what I just started diving into. I'm really obsessed with the idea of like scents, and a lot of people are using them as like aura mists for their like moon circles, and some people use them as the perfumes and room spray. Like, it's just really cool, all the different ways they can be used and how scents are channeled through the body and the memory. I'm all about it.
Like in our we sit down with so many people with different types of backgrounds, and Amanda and I, we are clinical mental health therapists and have that kind of formal training background, but it's amazing how all of the people we host, because that's why we call it a wellness-based podcast, because so many things just intertwine. And in our field, we talk about how strong, probably the strongest of our five senses, is smell, and the things that it evokes in our mind and our body. So I just wanted to ask you more about it, because I've been seeing your things on social media. So thank you.
Good job. So I do a little bit of everything. I wear a colorful array of hats because I'm very passionate and I like to follow all my passions.
Good for you. Okay, let's jump right in. But I think people get caught up on with dance, similar to like when we talk with our clients about doing any type of expression, art, like painting, or people get caught up on producing a product or being good at it. So this might be on the spot, wasn't part of our specific things, but
it's definitely something up in all of my classes, especially more so high vibe. So I offer 3 classes, chill, high vibe, and then today I'm actually announcing a 3rd class, which is remix.
Ooh.
First to hear. Especially with the ecstatic dance, which is just moving emotion through your body, and it's very much like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, just let your body guide you. And people just kind of freeze, and they're like, well, I can't just dance, I can't just dance, like
right.
Yeah, that's what my classes are geared towards, teaching people, yes, actually you can just dance randomly, whenever, however, and it doesn't have to be pretty or right. One of my classes, the high vibe, has choreography, which we follow, but even then I'm like, if something doesn't sit right, something doesn't feel right, like let your body modify that for you. There's no shame in that. So the grounding benefits is you can't really do yoga, meditate, and dance and be thinking about what you need to make for dinner. Like, it's just too much. So it's very grounding. It makes you very present. And I always start my classes with a meditation where I'm like, you have nowhere else to be for this hour.
Love that.
Yeah, we do breath work, we drop in, we do some ecstatic movement, and then we flow through the class. And I think that the grounding part is really cool because I literally like to connect women to that wild woman energy. So I'm like, let's get on the floor, let's move our shoulders around, and let's crawl, and let's let's stomping. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed right now with stomping. That sounds so strange, right?
No, I love it. I wasn't able to tune into like your lives during the week. It like kind of ended up clashing with the structure of my own personal schedule, but it's way more, free flowing. And I think our brains, we struggle with that rigidity and wanting it to be, okay, tell me how I'm supposed to do it and what steps I'm supposed to do. And that way, I think it makes us feel safer to think we have the structure, but without that structure, you really connect with yourself and your body. And that's one of the biggest, like we said, not the only benefit, but like the purpose of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so holistic benefits for sure, kind of across the board. Can you break down just the overall kind of the theory and where this is rooted for Vibeology for us in the community that's listening?
Yeah, so dance yoga, the name Vibeology, of course, actually my husband came up with it. I was brainstorming.
I thought it was like a thing. So he made it a thing. It's a thing now.
So I started creating dance yoga in my 200-hour training. And of course, my teacher helped support me in that. And I was so grateful. She let me practice on the other students. And I sat down one day and I'm just kind of like vomit journaling, just like letting words fall out about the experience that I'm creating. And my husband comes over and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't come up with a name. Like my friend said, this can be a whole program and I need to have a name. So I'm trying to, I got all these words and I showed him and, nothing was coming together, and we're driving and he just looks at me later on in our drive and goes, what about Vibeology? And I was like, wait a minute. Like I got ready to make fun of him, like, oh, shut up. And then
got ready to make fun of him.
No, that's actually really good. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
So, full credit to him for the name. And he's very happy about that, of course. And the theme behind Vibeology, of course, is vibration. So Vibeology is short for vibration, or vibe is, and then ology, the study of. So the study of vibration. And I even have a whole workshop on vibration and energy magic is what I call it. I had a whole list I thought that I wrote down here somewhere. Okay, there it is. I was like, I wrote down a list, but I wanted to kind of touch on a few things. The things that we can achieve just alone by just raising our vibration are exponentially abundant. Like the magic that we can create just from, focusing on self-care, raising our vibration, connecting to our bodies. It's in order to ultimately raise the vibration of the planet. I think that we have to begin with our own energy. And I think that if you take the time to do this, it affects the people around you. So your family, your friends, strangers, and then those people run into their family, friends, and strangers. And we just keep trickling down this flow of energy. And if this energy starts at a strong place, it's just going to keep, and so on and so on and so on. I just think it's so beautiful.
And we've had some people on, not on this topic specifically, but kind of just energy healing and Reiki, so many different types of energy themed episodes we've kind of put out, and we always come back to like everything is energy, like, and then if we're putting things in our body or surrounding us with it, then that's impacting our own energy and vibration. And I'm not an expert on that area whatsoever, but just from our other wonderful guests we've had on, like it intermingles with their topics as well. And like you said, and then it emits from us, and then our energy can then influence other people. And you see it on the flip side too. You're around some people and you can just tell, you're like, man, I just feel like, I don't know, it's like the energy in the room or around some people. And it's sometimes we have to make changes and adjustments, and then hopefully that person does the same.
We're taught to, suck it up and kind of match the energy in the room instead of setting it. So I think it's really cool. I feel like maybe possibly for some people that Vibeology might empower people to honor vibration and honor energy and remove themselves from certain situations, use the word no more.
I tell my clients, I say using the word no more and saying yes to things that you actually really want to say yes to, using yes more, but using them both more efficiently and effectively for you. Like, because we think, okay, I just have to start saying no, but I'm like, but also, have you been kind of shut off to other opportunities that you haven't, allowed in and said yes to?
That's duality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay for healthy boundaries and knowing yourself and making decisions based on your values, not just because you're out of fear. Yeah.
I wrote a whole chapter writing a book, and I wrote like a whole chapter on how everything is fear-based in the patriarchy in the world. So I think it's really cool to dive into fear. That's like a big topic that the world needs to learn more about, I feel like.
All right, Kendra. So how do you combine, I think it's 2 movement techniques into like an embodied experience for your clients?
Yeah, so that's why I have the 3 classes, so that each one kind of can be, I have one student actually who will take all 3 classes. She loves them all, but some are meant for some where others prefer the chill, where others people like the choreography, or other people want to blend, which is why I just launched Remix. But I take basically the idea of dance and I blend it with yoga postures. So when you come into my class, a lot of people are expecting a typical yoga class, and it's very open-minded. I don't follow too much of a structure. Of course, I have it's like a 4-step program, but sometimes we mix things up. Sometimes, I like to teach kind of on the spot, unless it's choreography. I like to kind of just teach as I go and let source guide me so I can guide them. So with High Vibe, I do yoga postures, but they're in dance choreography. So it might look like something like, okay, we're going to go on this note of the music. We go from down dog down to hero, and then we add some ecstatic dance, and then we, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas chill is more like, okay, we're in yoga, pause, add some movement. Okay, go back to yoga movements. Okay, pause. Let's add some hip sways. Let's add some shoulders back and some confident struts. Like, it's just very, I don't know what the word would be.
I don't know. You said it. It's chill.
Is it? It's chill. Yeah, it's chill.
Yeah.
Remix is the same as chill, so it doesn't have the choreography like High Vibe, but it does have the ecstatic warm up, which chill doesn't have, and that's just I put on a song and we just stand up and we just dance, we warm up, we raise our vibration. I normally start the class with meditation, where we clear out old energy, we start filling it up with new energy, and then we build upon that until the meditation at the end, where we absorb the energy we created.
And my instinct, something's leading me to ask you, and if you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but in your own personal life, are there specific things that you do on a ritualized or regular basis that you feel helps you? I like to give people practical, so maybe they don't have access to Vibeology dance classes in their area, but just some everyday tips for how people can raise their vibration and get some of the benefits of this if they don't have access to like guided or, led
Yeah.
class?
Yeah. So I did on Instagram last week an ecstatic live. So basically the minute your feet hit the floor, you turn on music and you start dancing. Now, of course, there's situations where you have like your husband in bed too. So maybe you have to take your feet out to the kitchen. But basically the first thing you do. So you're not eating, you're not looking at your phone, you're just going straight into dance. And setting an intention for your day. So you set your intention for your day, and then you connect the body movement with your intention. So kind of bringing that intention to reality before the day's even begun. And then a good way to end the day is by grounding, just going outside barefoot, doing some energy transfer with the earth. You can turn on some music there too if you wanted to kind of do like celebrate your day, like whether it was good or bad, just celebrating the day that was. You could do some stomping, you could do some dancing, you could do just, whatever feels good. And another way you can add kind of the Vibeology lifestyle is taking a yoga class at home, just a normal one, and adding movement to it. So the instructor tells you to go into child's pose, but maybe you add some, you're moving your hands, you're patting your hands, you're swaying your hips, or she tells you to go into tabletop and you're letting your cat cows be fluid instead of, structured. So just adding creativity to the practice you already have is really kind of what it's all about.
I love that. And I think like the theme feels like it's always coming back to the more that you can kind of lose the structure, not completely, like, but lose that, the rigidity of it, the more of an impact or influence that can have. Like you're literally just simply listening, like you said, like what feels good.
Yeah.
And just doing that. And it could be a good starting point for people. Like if you don't feel the most secure or safe going to a class or something like that, if you had access to it, do something at home by yourself and just to kind of get the feel for it.
Yeah.
And can you share what's stomping, since I couldn't tune in? Is it literal? Like my brain goes very literal, very like primal. Like
yeah. So the song that I always use, and I haven't been able to, like, I haven't even looked for a new song to use. I just use the same one every time. And I can't tell you the name of the people who sing it, but it's called Three Sisters, I believe. Yeah. Three Sisters is a song, and I can send you that if you want to link it in the show notes. But it's very tribal, and there's like yipping, and there's drums, and you can hear different instruments, and you really have to hear it. It's absolutely like you just connect like to your ancestors when you hear it. And yeah, you just stomp. I normally tell people, I'll guide them a little bit in the beginning. I have them start like with their hands on their knees and just swaying from heel to heel, and then adding some more stomping, getting bigger, taking up space, adding arm movements. And then from there, people normally just kind of take off. I taught it in Colorado at the Desert Bloom Retreat. And when the song ended, they all looked at me like that. Wait, no, we just got started. Like we were, people were like dancing in circles and stomping and slapping the ground and just really getting rid of that good girl stereotype and connecting to the wild woman archetype.
Oh, it's so therapeutic. And it sounds like you're saying to use your intuition. It's kind of what I'm hearing. Like when you're talking about like, hey, if you're in a yoga class and you want to add some things like listen to your body, what feels intuitively right, move that way, do that thing without judgment, without society, without worrying what anyone else is thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, Kendra, was there anything else that you wanted to say on yoga and Vibeology?
I don't think so. Well, you know what? Actually, I wrote down some cool little quotes. And I have like a ton. I'm a quote nerd or something of the sort. So the quote behind the Guided Goddess Company is "Be bold, live free." And I feel like that really connects to everything we've talked about. And then I also wrote down that dance is art in motion. And I feel like that helps take away some of the stigma around being a good dancer or a bad dancer. It's just art in motion. I mean, you see art that's ugly, and then you see art that you thought was ugly and someone else thinks is a masterpiece. And that's what dance is. And I believe that it's a universal language between cultures, ancestors, and across time and space. And my last little quote, which is, I use it all the time. I think that it can be applied to anything in your life. And that's if you stumble, just to make it a part of your dance.
I love that. That is a perfect mantra to head out with. Yeah, perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this. And how can our listeners connect with you? How can they find you so that we can put that in the show notes?
So I teach currently at Rainbow Yoga on 2nd Street in Chillicothe, Ohio. And my classes right now are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and you can sign up on the Mind Body app. And then I'm working on getting videos online. I do have one YouTube video. I may have to text you the username on that. I think it's Dance Yoga with Kendra. And
that's okay. We'll link it if you share it with us. Yeah.
Yes. And then my Instagram is where I always am. That's where you can find me most of the time. Instagram has been a beautiful platform for me. So my personal account is Kendra the Dancing Gypsy. And my business account is the Guided Goddess Co.
All right. Well, we will make sure that we link those so that people can find you. I can't wait to for you to get more videos out on YouTube so I can see this in action.
Yeah. And the stomping actually it's on my Instagram, on my personal Instagram right now, where I recorded it live the other day.
Oh, so cool. Thank you. I needed this vibration raising energy this morning. So I appreciate your, I was going to say experience. That's not the right word. Your experience that you're bringing to here. I appreciate your presence today is what I meant to say. So thank you.
I appreciate you having me. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, you are always welcome back. We always welcome all of our guests to come back if you have another topic to talk about on the area of wellness. So thank you. And then for all of our listeners, make sure you subscribe and like and follow and leave comments so that you know when the next episode is coming out. We are on a bi-weekly basis at this point. Our next episode, the topic is to be determined. I believe it is a fellow therapist, but we will get more clarity on that since we got a couple weeks. And I hope everyone takes care and has a good weekend.
Thank you. Be safe, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.